Good morning. My name is Onepeg MG, and this is the news. Sorry for not being around the last couple of days. It's been a little bit crazy with trying to make sure that I was live long enough for the Twitch stream, the other half of what it is that I'm doing currently, as well as taking care of some obligations for a restream of the game Scum with Blacksite and Devolver Digital on Steam. Of which, if you guys want to come and check that out today, I'll be streaming that from 11 a.m. Eastern to 4 p.m. Eastern, and we are giving away 3 full copies of the game during the stream today. So there's my shameless plug. But anyway, on to the news. First up, we have a video submission by a community member of mine named Caspian, who managed to capture this interaction on Labs with a Scav Raider, or PMC Raider, depending on which semantics you care about. During the course of this interaction, something pretty interesting happened, which kind of harkens back to some patch notes where the devs had reported that the bots no longer shoot through certain surfaces. But I'm going to play this, and you guys can kind of judge for yourselves.
Look at that. He's shooting through. He's shooting through the...
So needless to say, it doesn't look like, from a visibility standpoint, that any one bot or otherwise should have been able to see him in the location that he was in. Yet he was being apparently shot not only through the glass from the upper story, but also kind of through the floor, and had the rounds penetrate and then kill him. So that was a bit interesting. Now, I know that this has been submitted to BSG, but I think just for the sake of the community's awareness, this is something that I think still stands to need further revisiting. It's good that they aren't seeing you through elevator shafts and the like for that kind of stuff anymore, but I think that there's still a lot of collision detection and visibility detection kind of things that really need to get fleshed out, because from a tactical standpoint, it seems like they're a little bit lacking. And from an aim and vision standpoint, it seems like they're a little bit inhuman. So, again, something that I think just warrants needing to get looked at again. Next, we have 2 small quality of life things. The first being that the magazine case now fits in a thick items case, where it was working in a regular eye case, but not a thick one, and that has been fixed. And the second thing has to do with the vanity item of Cotton's beanie. Now, originally, Cotton's beanie, you put it on your head and you couldn't wear anything on the face slot. That has now been fixed to where they allow you to put on masks and glasses and all that stuff when you wear the beanie. So, yeah, that happened. Next up, a good friend of the stream, No Food After Midnight, has come up with an update to his shot to kill ammo chart. If you're unfamiliar with that, I will post a link in the description of the video. But it is essentially a simulated run, Monte Carlo simulation, if you will, of the number of hits it would take on each different type of armor in order to kill your opponent. Essentially outlining which ammo is the best and which ammo would be the worst versus geared or ungeared players. It goes without saying that something like this as a resource would be pretty invaluable to the community, so I would suggest anyone and everyone that plays EFT to go and check it out so you know which ammo works in which situations. Now, for those of you that are relatively new to my stream, you know that whenever I start a raid, if I'm wearing armor, I tend to do what is called armor cycling, which means that I take my helmet, my armor off, my attack rig, if it's a plate rig, I take that off, put it into a backpack, and put it back onto the inventory slot where the armor would go. This is what's known as armor cycling, and the reason for doing that is because back in the day there used to be a bug where sometimes your armor wouldn't be recognized by the server that you're playing on, and you would get killed easily as if you weren't wearing it at all, which is a pretty horrible bug. Most recently, there was talk of an ongoing bug where the face shields for helmets weren't doing what they were supposed to do. Mainly because people noticed that when you had a helmet on at the beginning of a raid, there wasn't any breath sounds. You could hear echoing inside of the helmet whenever you put one on that you looted. So the problem is currently when you start a raid, there aren't any of those breath sounds, which leads people to think that the face shield or the visor isn't doing what it's supposed to do. The other thing that happens is in the inventory screen in your character panel, you have the option of being able to right-click an item or a helmet that has a visor and quote-unquote turn it on. In some cases, when you do that turning on of the visor and you go to put it on your helmet slot, when you start the raid, the visor isn't actually even in front of your face. You have to hit the N key and then you see their hand go up and pull the visor down, right? So that begs the question, is it actually on or is it not? Well, there was a Reddit thread that was started about this where somebody said, hey, I'm noticing that there aren't any breath sounds. I see a lot of streamers cycling their armor all the time. What gives? And a lot of people came in with their confirmation bias and all that other stuff. So Nikita actually responded to this. And in the thread, he says, can't confirm that this bug still exists. The idea that if you don't have breathing and that means your helmet is not working was tested many times and was not confirmed. Anyway, if you have any additional info on how to exactly replicate it, send a bug report and put a number of the ticket here. It will be really helpful. Thanks. So there have been multiple times where people have posted saying that they have tested it themselves. What it looks like is that the breath sounds are just an audio bug, and that if you visually see that the face shield is over your face, it is protecting you. Now, I do not know if this is actually accurate or not. I think that it stands to have further testing just because there seems to be a lot of questionable deaths. I would also say that if the bullets that are killing people are missing the face shield completely, and they're killing that person based on a top of the head hit or something like that, especially if it's through an Alton and coming from a PMC raider, that whole thing needs to be revisited, because a PMC raider should not be able to reliably shoot through a class 5 helmet whenever they damn well please. Just my 2 cents. Our last item for today has to do with an older post and a video harkening back to one that I made a few days back, where Battlestate had made a tweet showing the customs map on a table. Now the question was whether or not this was rendered or if this was real, what have you. And there was actually a Reddit thread about this where someone had said, hey, what the heck is this thing going on in this picture? And Nikita responded and said, well, you know what? It's just we printed a map. It's actually a physical copy of the customs map that they have laid on a table. In the background, this poster here outlining the RPG is actually a common Russian-issued military poster that outlines the working parts of the RPG. If you notice, in this photo, this is the tail end of that exact poster, which is right here. So there you have it. Mystery solved. They printed a map and had a Russian poster laying under it. There really isn't any kind of a teaser or anything. In the case of people asking if there was a teaser, Nikita actually responded to that as well and said, I'm not the person that runs this account. I don't really know anything about there being a teaser or a leak of any kind. So I don't know if he's trolling or if that's true, but it looks like this is really just they printed a map and wanted to share that a physical copy of the customs map existed. That's all I have for today, guys. Hopefully you'll be able to stop by and see me today, 11 a.m. Eastern to 11 a.m. Eastern to 4 p.m. Eastern. I'll be doing a restream of Scum, and then we'll be doing some Tarkov action around that. All right? Thank you guys so much, again, for all of the support. It has been amazing, and I will see you tomorrow. Peace.